Welcome to the show that explores the methods and strategies on rocking the financial side of your music business. With over 40 years combined experience, here are your hosts, Chris Webb and Dave Tampkin.
Welcome to Musicians Tip Jar, where we talk about musicians and money, where we aim to engage, educate, entertain, and repeat. I'm Chris Webb, joined by my co-host who loves to rally, lather, rinse, and repeat, Dave Tampkin.
Thanks for having me back, Chris Webb. It's always good to be here, clean and fresh for you.
I appreciate it, since now we have the smell-o-vision thing, and it's really nice of you. Today, we share how to take the luck out of growing your social channels. We discuss creating a roadmap and fill the role that is being asked of you, all with our guest, Johnny Fiacconi. We got two quotes for me today. One is from Johnny himself. He said, "How badly do you want something to succeed? What are you willing to sacrifice?" These are excellent questions. The other one came from, I brought up Gary V because he brings him up a couple times in the interview, and we've certainly listened to him a bunch too. This quote from Gary V says, "The world cares about people, not about your products or services."
For our nonprofit spotlight this week, we want to talk about building a sustainable music community for the long haul. And that starts with Music Counts, MUSICOUNTS. They are the official music education charity for the Juno Awards, and their work is crucial for every artist listening. Music Counts puts instruments into the hands of kids in schools and communities across Canada, ensuring that the next generation has the chance to fall in love with music, become dedicated fans, and maybe even become the musicians you collaborate with in the future. A healthy music scene needs a constant influx of new talent and passionate listeners, and that's exactly what Music Counts helps create. Support them in an investment in the very future of the industry we all work in. Learn more at musiccounts.ca. If you find this information useful, please rate and subscribe to the podcast, and also slam that like button if you're on YouTube so we can help keep you up on the finance side of your music business.
Johnny Fiacconi is a Canadian content creator, drummer, and entrepreneur known for his straight-talking insights on band life, the music industry, and creative discipline. His posts have amassed millions of views on all platforms. As a drummer and the co-founder of the Dreamboats, which is a rock and roll band bringing the energy of the 50s and 60s to modern audiences, Johnny has built an international career blending high-impact performance with behind-the-scenes strategy. Through his content, he pulls back the curtain on what it really takes to run a band today, offering no-fluff advice to artists, musicians, and creatives chasing big goals. His mission is to fire people up, lead by example, and prove that with the right mindset and work ethic, anything is possible. Whether you're an artist, a band member, or a creative entrepreneur, Johnny Fiacconi is someone worth watching and listening to. So please enjoy the rest of this interview with our special guest, Johnny Fiacconi. Let's go.
Can you tell me some of the key challenges and rewards of not only now managing this thing that's growing, but now from moving, you're also managing a business, musically you're managing, and now as friends too. I mean, you guys have to have a pretty tight friendship there too, to have boundaries and work that out. I mean, I give you a lot of credit for that.
You hit the nail on the head. It's like moving down to California has added those exact other layers to the whole operation. Before it was just about like, we all live on our own. We all show up to the gigs, so we're all together. But now it's just like, people are living their lives and going through life struggles. And then, we're all rolling together in the band van, and then, just navigating how to be down in the US full time. We're on a visa that gets renewed every year. It's like, how do we get the green card? We got to build our profile as entertainers and show extraordinary ability. And it's just like all of these things are on my mind, and I feel responsible for everyone because we're down here and I'm steering this ship. And it's like, if I'm not doing a good job, or like, even I tell these guys that, like, if someone brings something to me is like, I'm having a problem with this, or this in the show isn't going well, it's like I have to address that. I can't not address it as like someone trying to lead this thing. I have to, show that I care about what their inputs are in the band. It's a whole level of just managing human relations, and immigration stuff, and then the band. It's just like making sure we're all in a good headspace. Like, you wouldn't believe when we have a show day, it's like we have a whole schedule that I print out of like what time we're packing the trailer. And that's like always an hour before we leave. And it's posted up outside of the kitchen. And it's posted up outside of the garage. And then it's like we all roll up bed and we meet at the trailer. Then it's like one guy attaches the trailer. And then it's like we're all scrambling in the kitchen. We call it doing the tango because there's like 4 of us and 2 dogs just bumping around trying to pack our lunches. We pack our lunches because it's like you don't know some of the city gigs we're doing here. They don't give you anything, but you play to a big audience, big opportunity. So there's that. And then it's like fighting for the shower. And it's just, and I'm 38. Like, did I think I was going to be like, I didn't want to be living with other grown men at the age of 38, but we had to make this sacrifice coming down to California. And that's another thing too. It's like, how badly do you want something to succeed? What are you willing to sacrifice? And people have sacrificed a lot. People have families back home, and we're down here. And for that reason, I think that's even fueled my fire even more, because I'm like, to leave like parents and brother, I don't have any kids, but just to leave family back in Canada, I feel like I can't justify being down here in California now full time if I'm not working as hard as I can every day. It just, I can't lie to myself. So even just the fact of moving down here has caused me to be like, I got to do more. I got to start filling out this daily book. Like, what am I doing here?
And I have to say, at any age, what you're doing is impressive. Because where you're just supposed to be in life is someone's opinion of their construct of your journey. And you are exactly where you're supposed to be right now. And
for what we're trying to do.
Work. Yeah.
Yeah, so, for what we're trying to do. And it's like, and that's the thing. It's like, I don't want to sound like a hypocrite. I'm talking to people and I'm on my channel and I'm giving advice and stuff. And then meanwhile, it's like I'm living with, 3 other guys in a house. And I'm sure like someone could say, oh, that's not something I'm striving towards. But the thing is like, we had a really successful band in Canada with the Dreamboats. Like, we were doing like performing arts centers, theaters, making really good money. When we came to California that first year, we moved down here with only 4 gigs booked. We packed up everything, came in the trailer. We documented the whole thing online. We only had 4 gigs booked. The 4th gig was at a casino. I kid you not, the 4th gig, the next day after we played that, we got a call from the agent saying the casino wanted to lock us in to a residency. Once a month, we would play at this casino. That lasted 2 years. Wow. Which was crazy. Now, we would have been staying down here anyways, but it was like we were like busking on the streets. Like, imagine going from playing like theaters before COVID. We were doing theaters, playing to full crowds, making good money, living in we have our own places back at home, and then coming down here and we're like busking. And like someone dumped water on us like the first week. We documented this all because we were filming it. It was crazy. It was like the most humbling.
The music was so hot. Yeah. I mean, they were worried about you guys.
They were worried. They just wanted to dump water on us in the desert here. But it was just like, that was like a crazy process. Like I said, in my mid-30s, I did not think I would be, making a move like that and taking it back to like bare bones, trying to rebuild down here. And we're still doing it. The reason we live together is just we play so much. It makes sense. Like, it makes sense to be together. We wake up every day on Monday to Friday. If it's not a show day, we're meeting 10:30 at the table. We have a band meeting. We're like, what's everyone doing today? What do we got to do? What needs to get done? We do 10:30 to 4:30 every day. And then it's like, you do whatever you want, live your life. But we put that time in. So we're just very, very, proactive down here. And yeah, that's the story. That's the reality of moving to a new place with your band. And I didn't even I expected it to be hard. I did not expect it to be like 3.5 years in. And I'm still stressing not stressing. I got it under control, but still being like, okay, now I gotta figure out how I can get everyone green cards, without getting married, like legitimately due to our talents. That's like the thing on my mind right now. And how do we start building credit here? It's like we're buying our band vehicle in cash, like out in the desert. It's because we're from Canada. It's like, but with each hurdle, we're learning like something extremely, extremely valuable here. And I try to be like all these hurdles, and there's been some very, very difficult ones out here, have all been so crucial to the journey here. If you guys have dealt with any kind of hardships, it's like there's something to get out of that. Even this podcast is like, all it takes is one episode to totally crash on you, and then you're like, okay, we gotta do something different here. Like maybe that's happened, I don't know, but look at this now. It's all set up, it's all dialed in. It's like epic.
Well, and I think about like you said, like sometimes you're always just about what's next. That's sort of our programming as entrepreneurs. And at some point there are plenty of moments where it's like, when I go a week and nobody has emailed me with new inquiries coming, I'm like, what's going on? Like, is it me? Like, why am I not getting emails all of a sudden? And then all of a sudden I'll get like 30 at once. And I'm like, oh, I can't handle this. Like I'm getting too many. And then I'm trying to catch up. And it's like, no matter what, there's always a part of it that's like feeling overwhelming, whether it's fear or it's overwhelmed from too much. And I just think we're always trying to find a balance within all of this, And for me, it's always that long vision of what the heck am I doing this for keeps me in line, keeps me patient with all of it.
Sure. It's what's that internal goal? Why are you why are you guys doing this podcast? Is like to give back. Do you feel good that you can have a place to, collect ideas from people who have been doing things, so that, like you said, so you can learn, so that others can learn, that you leave this legacy? Like I think something like that is great. I don't get the sense that you guys are just doing this. We're doing this and going to make a ton of cash. It's like there's passion behind this. Although you could and you should, if that's what you want. It's you know what I mean? Really.
It's funny you say that, and we should transition this into talking about your channel, because as soon as we started this, which was during COVID too, since then 5 years, my income itself has gone up like 8 times what it was before. Nice. And I think that has not been the podcast, because we're not really making money off everything we make from the podcast goes back to the podcast.
Sure.
But the knowledge that I'm getting from talking to people like you is what I'm implementing and causing, I think, my personal income to go up.
That's so key. Yeah, I think people see things so black and white sometimes, and it's just like, nah, you're missing the point. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not about that. You got something. No, it's not about the destination. It's the journey, and it's so true. It's like, you must be just a wealth of knowledge, just taking it all in, both of you guys, and just implementing it. And when you keep hearing things over and over again, you talk to, a bunch of different people, and there's like a common theme. Sometimes you're just like, okay, like maybe, someone's onto something.
When we first started this, and we could start seeing our lives change and what we just talked about, and especially just with friends and bandmates, I referred to it as like when you get a new car in your life, used or whatever, you start to see, say, you get a Jeep Renegade. You start to see that Jeep Renegade everywhere on the street. You just start to see it more because you're paying attention to it more, and it's around you. And that's where I think this stuff has helped both of us individually, because you start to pay attention, and how you make decisions change when you're talking about it week in and week out. And when we do have our time off, we're just gearing up for the next season, and what can we do, and what can we learn, and who can we talk to. And when we see someone like yourself, that you're learning something from someone sitting in the front of his car with a soda slurping on it, you're experiencing all of this stuff, and you're learning from your peers and just like your mentor and other things. So can you tell us what your Instagram handles are for these 2 new handles that this is the way I found you, and just talk about how, you wanted to start this like tour life and behind the scene moments that could help give back to other musicians.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the handle of the main one is, on Instagram is Johnny Fiacconi. You can look that up there. If anyone hasn't seen it,
we'll have it posted for sure.
Yeah. I appreciate the kind words. The goal with that channel is like I'd always wanted to start a channel, and I was just like, I follow a lot of Gary V stuff. I don't know if you follow Gary V, and all I'm doing with that channel is just implementing exactly what he says to do, and it's just create value for people. And I was like, well, how can I create value? There's so many things I'm interested, even outside of music, but I was just like, I have a lot of people will come to me and ask me questions like prior to the channel, and musician friends, and I've helped a few friends, like they were starting bands, and we end up having these like 2 hour long conversations. And once again, I'm getting all fired up. I'm like, oh, you guys could do this, and yeah, do this theme. I'm like, oh, and then you could really like start putting this on stage and then do this. And they're like, yeah, and we just have these like cool little sessions. And then it'll turn into them being like, hey, like I have one buddy who will message me and be like, hey, I'm getting an offer for a New Year's gig. Like he messaged me yesterday and he's like, what do you think about this rate? And I'm like, well, you could hold off, but then you run the risk of not having a New Year's gig, and I'm just already having these chats with people. And I'm always, whenever I talk to someone in the business, I'm always asking them a million questions. So it's just like, this is stuff I've picked up and I'm regurgitating into the world, because I feel like A, there's enough room at the top for everyone. And B, like, I wish I could hear people tell me these things, because in the past, when I started the Dreamboats, there was been a few conversations with musicians who were older and more successful than us that really I took to heart. Like I remember having a chat with one guy. There was this band, Tim of the Sound Parade. They used to do live band karaoke at a venue, and it would be packed. And I remember after the show, we're like, Tim, how do you get gigs? And he would just be like, do you guys have a website? I'm like, no. He's like, get a website. He's like, go look at ours, do this. He's like, do you have a demo reel? And we're like, no, we should get one. He's like, take a look at ours. Just copy this. Okay. And then we did that. And then it was like, boom. Then we started having the ammo to send to people. And I was just like, thank God I had that chat with Tim. So that's why, like, with this channel, it was just me giving back, and it feels good. I like giving this information to people. Like, I'm sure you guys do too. It's like, selfishly, it feels good to feel like I can help like a next generation and inspire someone. And then when people tell me like, yeah, my band did this, I'm like, excellent. I'm glad it worked. It feels good for me. And that was just, following the Gary V thing. It's like, you got to create value. You got to give people and then you're doing a disservice if you're creating value and you're not actively trying to think, well, now how do I get people to actually watch it? Then that's like another layer. So you start looking, I'm like, okay, I need a little hook, the coffee thing. And then it's like my first couple videos, there's a lot of just useless talking at the beginning. And now it's come to the point where I'm like, take the sip, say the main point of the whole video, first line. You know what I mean? It's like, you just learn and you analyze, and then you see what people are commenting, and you're like, oh, I'll do a video on that. Or you get DMs, the same DM asking the same question. I'm like, do a video on that. So it just starts building and building. And it's been cool. It's been a cool process. I'm so glad I've done the channel. But to tie it all together, just with the book, it's like, I told myself I started it January 1st. I know it sounds like a resolution, but I just picked January 1st. It was a good time to start. And I was like, no matter what, I'm going to release a video every single day. And I haven't missed one yet, because I add it to the schedule. And if I'm out of town or something, I know I'm going to be out of town. It's like, I got to bank like 5 videos, and I have to plan that ahead of time. But it's just like, there's no excuse if you want to be doing that stuff. If you're an artist and you're like, I got to be posting more, it's like, you can be posting more. I just think in general, it's such an exciting time to be alive. There's so much noise on social media, but at the same time, if you really put the time in and start finding niches and navigating and actively thinking, how can I make this better or get people to stop scrolling? It's like, you don't need the help of any label or any manager or even ad money. You don't even need it. It's like, you can just build it. And I've seen this happen 2 times for myself. Once on my drumming channel, that's Johnny G Wiz. That's my name, my stage name in the Dreamboats. But like, I started filming my drum content, and I posted one blooper video, and it ended up, I'd been posting for a while, but the one blooper video I did got millions of views on YouTube Shorts, on TikTok, and on Instagram. I was like, okay, people like the bloopers. Then I'm like, I gotta try more ambitious things, because if I throw my sticks and catch them, that's a cool video. But if I miss them, then I got the blooper video. So I started doing that, and that really built. And I was getting like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and a couple videos that got millions on all the platforms. And I didn't need any ad budget. I didn't need any sponsor. Like, I didn't need anything. And then starting this channel now, it was like, I'm just going to post every day and just try and make the videos, better. And it's like, it's taken off again. Now you could argue that I've just been getting lucky, but I'm actively trying, and it's just like, I'm seeing the growth, what consistency and just a bit of a will to like constantly improve and constantly think about the other person. What are they getting? Do they care? Like, should I be saying, hi everyone, my name's Johnny and welcome to my car? It's like, no, they don't care. They've scrolled past it already. It's like, get to the goods, then get into it. So that's my little rant on social media, but it's like, you don't need anyone. You can really do things on your own. It's an exciting time to be alive right now.
I want to bring up some of your posts. I did a scan and I got the top 10 likes and shared, but then it's just like pick 3 of them. But you were just saying, the next generation, some of this stuff that you're saying is inspiring people your age, older, less experienced, more experienced. Sometimes it's hard to just start a conversation about these things. And I kind of went into it a little bit when I reached out to you, but then also I'm like, I gotta take it easy. But shortly after that, you posted this about breaking out of the bar scene and different things, and we'll post that. But I wrote this to some of my friends that are starting new bands, and I'm also starting a different project too. And I said, let's start here. Let's not do the things that we've already been doing all our lives. And to get out of that, like say that $500 mark is what you were saying before. So my friend, after listening to your video, said this: all bands need a gimmick. Stage uniforms is the lowest hanging fruit. Antics, jokes, boobs, online presence now outweigh the actual quality of the music. Music is really just the glue that holds the business together. It really doesn't even have to be good music anymore. Image is everything. And oh my God, my ears just started boiling. So I'm like, okay, this is text. I don't know if he's smiling or, how he's presenting this. And I wrote back, I have a different perspective. The music has to be quality first. Otherwise, all the things that you refer to as gimmick means absolutely nothing to the audience that I know I want to connect with. Music gets you in the door. The other creative ways to express yourself not only introduce you to like-minded audiences, but keep you connecting with people that consume music differently than you do. There is nothing wrong with style, stage presence, entertainment. It only dilutes the music if you want it to. And he said, well, that's subjective. And I said, well, music is objective. Everything anyone likes or does not like is subjective. And then we just go into this awesome conversation that have different perspectives, see each other's point of view, because of that one post that you put on your page. So I think it really does help open a door where maybe some people might share the same ideas you do, but not know how to communicate, but you do it in such an articulate way that it helps people like come together and talk about things that they need to, because it's easy just to focus on the music.
Sure, that's a really interesting debate, and I've gone down that rabbit hole with people before, even right here in the house. But that's cool. It sounds like a lot of people share my videos in their group chats with their bands. That seems to be like the thing. I mean, I see a lot of shares, but I don't necessarily see them publicly. And a lot of people are like, I share them in my band group. I'm probably annoying a lot of people out there, so I get that. I didn't, not my fault. But I think it's like, saying things that maybe people want to say, or at least giving people the ammo to be like, see, this guy's like, this is what I've been saying. And it's like, I can vouch. And I'm really trying to come from a like, not opinionated, like this is the way it is. And it's like, when you're talking about, stage antics or music, it's like, it's a balancing act. It's like, I talk about things that don't look good on stage. Like I've had that, wearing the shorts and blah, blah, blah. Now, the thing is, it's not black and white. It's just like, for most bands, it's not a good look. For most bands that want to get to like a higher pay range, it's not a good look. But then people are like, oh, what about in the the punk scene, or like what about in metal? It's like they wear shorts. I'm like, yeah, cool. It's not like black and white. Or even people be like, well, so and so wears a sports jersey, and I'm like, there's a balance here. It's like if you're writing original music and it's like so awesome and it's huge and it's like it's taking over the world, it's like, yeah, the uniform or like what you're wearing doesn't matter as much because the music is that much more powerful. But like sometimes it's like people have antics. Now this is the other spectrum, is like people have antics and the music sucks, but the antics are more, it's almost more of a circus at that point. And that can be a thing. Like you could argue, like, is that music or whatever? But it's like it's its own thing. It's entertainment value at that point, but it's like you got to have something, and bands are finding this balance, but you can't have none. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just, and I think a lot of bands are low on both of those. They don't have the music dialed in, sounding good, tight, knowing the endings, or they don't have a good look on stage. It looks like they just rolled out of the couch, whatever they were wearing that day. And it's like, something's got to give here. You got to put some effort into it, if you want to grow. I think that's pretty crucial.
Well, that post was key differences between amateur bands and pro bands, and that has more than 19,000 likes, and it was posted May 14th. So if anyone's interested in checking that out. Out of the ones that I listed here, Chris, any of those catch your eyes that, you want to get firsthand from Johnny?
I'm big on the time. I'm big on time management. I think that a lot of musicians, they don't, whether it's because they don't have the motivation behind it or whether they just don't know how to delegate what they need to get done. But the one about the 3 mistakes musicians make with their time, I think is really what stood out.
Honestly, I can't even remember which ones are those. I say, the thing is, here's the thing. I say like a lot of the same themes in different videos. Like I'm trying to get the same messages across in different ways. You know what I mean? So it's like, although I'm posting every day, it's like there's the same kind of messages that are there. Like I always talk about, having goals. I talk about always having band meetings. Like if there's an issue with someone in the band, it's like that means you're due for a meeting. I talk about always, nailing your parts. I talk about just being intentional with the things that you're doing, be it playing a part or the way you dress. So I bring up these themes. So when it comes to like time management, I can't even remember the exact video, we're talking about, but I mean that's so important. Like I said, I really feel like there's no excuse if you want to accomplish something big in music. I feel like everything's possible. And to be honest, I feel like the fact that most musicians and entertainers don't do things, don't take action, that means that by you taking action, you are already like miles beyond your average band, your average performer. And when it comes to time management, it's like, you can accomplish everything. It's like, it's the Gary V thing. He's just like, okay, you're working a 9 to 5. What are you doing from 7 to 12?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? And it's like, that's a lot of time. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 5 hours. Even if 3 of those hours you were just like putting towards like advancing, going to the next step, dreaming big and charting a course. It's like you have the time. And I'm not one to talk because I know, people with families, people with kids, I can only imagine. And I understand that I'm in a different position by I can be fully focused here, but it's like, I do believe that there is time. If you really care, you can make the time to do stuff, even if it's carving out a little chunk of one day, once a week, just dedicating it. And it makes you feel good. You feel a sense of accomplishment. I think people forget that by like setting a goal and actually like working towards it, the little wins along the way build confidence. It makes you feel good. It makes life worth living. Like you're just like, I got that gig, or like I've been wanting to do that, or like it just it helps so much by having goals and working towards them. It's the key. That's what I think.
One of my favorite things to say to my students at the university when they tell me they didn't have time to do something.
Yeah.
I'm always like, if your cat, because half of them have cats, if your cat got sick, would you have time to take him to the emergency room? And they're like, well, yeah, sure. And I was like, so you made time.
Yeah.
We're just talking about making time. Like, like there's always a reason not to. There's always a way to make time.
When you make that time for yourself to actually pursue something, it just feels good. It doesn't feel good in the moment, but once you get in the routine, it's like you guys said, it's like, I bet you some days you don't feel like doing this stuff, we're just like, oh, even Saturday, it's like you probably want to spend it with your family, which is why I appreciate you being here. But you're like, we're doing this. This is our thing. And, this is what we do. And some days you're going to be really fired up. Some days you're not, but it's like just showing up. It's like going to the gym. We go, our buddy's a personal trainer, and it's just, we're supposed to be going certain days a week. Sometimes you show up. Like yesterday we had a gig and I went for 25 minutes. I did 2 exercises. I'm like, I showed up. That's all that matters. I was here.
Yeah.
I was here. That goes a long way. And I think just in general, taking it to a broader thing, just a lot of people are sometimes unhappy with things or feel like their life isn't going the way they want it to go. And I really do think that having some kind of goals, you need to have some kind of direction, something you can work towards, a carrot dangling in front of you, and then actually putting it into action. It creates that confidence, and you carry confidence with you everywhere you go in life. And confidence translates into happiness eventually, because you feel fulfilled. My 2 cents.
Your 2 cents answered just the last 4 questions I had for you all in one, which is pretty awesome, because no one wants to hear what another question of, what's the 2025 Johnny would say to 2010. I mean, you've said that throughout this interview. How you would do things, 15 years ago. You would never have saw yourself right here, but that doesn't matter what you see yourself in the future, as long as you have a goal and whatever it takes to get there, and kind of let that journey form you as well, wouldn't you say?
Sure. And if I had to say something to 2010 Johnny, I would say to just fully submit and commit to being the guy in the band. You know what I mean? It was always like, oh, what does everyone think and whatever. But I was the one early on really dedicating the time. And I still wanted opinions, but everyone's weight would, everyone would hold weight. But I was the one really into it, be like, no, we can't do that because of this. I would tell myself to really dive in head first, be the guy, put things into action and just get them done. Try to get rid of all the noise. I think we would have been a lot further along. A lot quicker, but not that I'm saying that we weren't. We had a tight unit of everyone working daily, but I feel like just admitting that I'm the guy, coming to terms with that, and really just diving into it. That's what I would tell myself in 2010.
Chris, I have one more question, but I wanted to save it because it's very serious. Do you have any before I finish my last question?
One thing that I think we've learned is that a lot of musicians, they get mad at you for being so positive all the time. Here we get I almost as much people upset about how positive we are that you can make it in this industry as we do the support from others that are like, yeah, let's go. Is that something that you experienced through your channel about giving all this wisdom out?
Oh yeah. I mean, people comment all the time. They're just like, oh, well, what about this? Or, oh, you clearly have never done this, or you've never worked, you've never played a gig in the metal scene or something. There's always something. But when I hear that and I see that, I'm just like, this is an excuse. This is
Totally.
it's not it's like a loser mentality. I'm not saying that person is a loser, but that's what it is. It's like accepting defeat. It's feeling like it's hopeless. And that's just not a good way to be progressing your band, to thinking that there's no hope. It's like, what are you doing? There is hope.
Yeah.
People are making money in music. I've heard from the horse's mouth, and that's why I want to get more into the interviews with people in the industry, in the field. But it's just people are making good money doing music. I think there's this vision of being in music is you write music and you create the art and then you get the label and then it's all big. I'm like, no, there's people making 6 figures a year playing cover tunes, of music that they like, having fun, playing with their friends in a band that's all dialed in, touring the world. I'm like, I do that. Then there's people playing original music that aren't winning Grammys, but have a huge following of thousands of fans. And it's because they blew up on TikTok, it's there's there's so many avenues to do that. If you're a band out there and you're struggling and you're not getting shows, it's like, try something different. Look at a band that's in your scene that has made it, and what did they do? Look at bands, or look at artists right now. Like, who are the top people on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube Shorts, and what are they doing? It's like, you gotta want to grow, or else you're just hoping things are gonna happen. And like we said, as our mentor said, hope is not a strategy. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of mental energy, and you're only letting yourself down. So yes, I agree. It's good to be positive about music. I don't care that I'm positive, because that's how it is. It's like, you can make your own destiny. I believe it. You just got to work on yourself first. You got to get the systems in place so that you can start doing and executing on things and have the goals, and just like, that's your roadmap. Make it happen. You can do it. And it's not easy. It's not meant to be easy. If it was, everyone would be doing it. Cliche to say, but the business is hard. There are barriers, there are walls that are put up constantly so that most people can't get in. You got to figure out how to go around those walls. That is your job. If you want to grow, I believe that everyone can achieve. There's room for everyone.
Well, we'll probably end it on that one right there. But
I wanted to hear the serious question.
Okay.
Me too. I was like,
Okay.
How serious can we get here?
I know. I'm worried.
Why won't my wife, friends, and bandmates let me wear these glasses out into the public? Like, what's so bad about these? Like, I don't get it. Like,
Hey, they look cool. Are they
Too much? Is
prescription,
it
or
just-
are they cool?
they're prescription.
I think they're
Are
cool.
they cool? So if they were prescription, if you
No.
needed them to see.
No, I didn't mean that. I'm like, what I'm getting at is this. Are you wearing them? Like, are you going for a look? Because I think if they're prescription, you're going for a look. I'm like, own it, because I'm all about personal brand. I think that's great. I wish I had some kind of hair so I could do something cool. I sip on a mug. I think if you dig those and those connect with you, that should like be your thing.
And then it's so nice of you to
Straight
say,
up.
and I am going to play it for my wife Ann after this. But that's what, and I told Chris beforehand, I made the same joke to him. I'm like, what do you think? And that's why I got them, because I need glasses on stage. But I just thought, wow, what if I could walk in the room every time, and then they know that's me, and
Stage
something
Dave.
like that.
Yeah.
They-
Well, you're
but-
thinking ahead. It's a branding thing. It's just like, if someone were to refer to you, I always remember, Bacon's bits. He's like obviously a big inspiration for me. The guy with the cigar. It's
Yeah.
exactly. And he's done videos on that. It's so meta, because that's what helped me. He's like, when you talk about him, it's like, oh, the guy with the cigar. And it's just like, well, if someone talks about me, I'm hoping they're going to see the guy who like slurps the coffee. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
So when it comes to that, you're just, to me, you're just thinking about personal brand and how people can easily recognize you, because if you're playing a show on a Friday night at a bar, and then you go to a concert for some big band at the local like arena, and someone sees those glasses, be like, oh, that's the guy from the band.
Yeah.
No
that's what I-
question. No question.
All right.
So I say
Yes.
you do it. I say you do it, and you own it with full confidence.
All right, maybe a little thinner frames, but I'm going for it. I learned a lot of other stuff during this last hour, but I think that's only the one thing I'm going to take with me is,
Great.
go with the
I think-
glasses.
I think they're great. I think they're great.
I can't thank you enough for your time today, and really appreciate all your posts and just your experience. And thanks just for being open and candid with us. So really appreciate it, Johnny. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave, Chris. It's been an honor being on here. I appreciate what you guys are doing. I hope this can connect with people out there, and maybe we can do this again some point, or even in Colorado at some point we can connect. That would
Yeah.
Let's do that.
that'd be an honor.
No, this was super fun.
Thank
Thank
you
you so
guys.
much.
I
Yeah.
really appreciate your time.
This episode starts with challenges of being in a band, and we left off our last episode. I just have one question about your girlfriend starting dating your bandmate and living in the next room that you had. Did you ever play like any songs through the walls that used to be close to you guys? Like put the speakers towards the wall, a little Journey, Peter Cetera.
You know how weird things get when you're in those like circles at a younger age where everyone just gets to really know each other? I can't really put any explanation behind how weird that all got, besides to say that it's just a time in life where things are weird.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I hear
I mean,
you.
I don't even know if they were actually dating. They were just
Yeah.
hooking up.
Yeah. Which is worse? I don't even know.
It was
You know?
brutal. It was
Yeah.
brutal. But all those things write great songs, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Being in a band, especially in close quarters, it's much about managing human relationships and logistics as it is about music. And it seems like this band, the Dreamboats, really created that structure, even down from him like printing a schedule out for every like mundane task. So, hey, lunch is at this time, our meeting's at 10, swap girlfriends at 2:30 p.m.
That's what you're into.
That would have been on your band schedule.
I do appreciate though his attention to detail, and he said he was saying at 39 living with roommates, and almost as if that was a negative thing. And I almost wanted to be like, stop! You just said something negative in an unintentional way, because the truth is that like what he's doing, no one in their 20s is responsible enough to write out a band sheet for the day of list. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're just not in the headspace. We're like, cheating on each other with our girlfriends. You know what I mean? It's like there is just a time where you just become more responsible. And so where he's at is exactly like you said in the interview, where he's supposed to be. He's doing it excellent. And it just, everyone should be so lucky to have a leader doing those things for them in their band.
And the stakes are, I think, a lot more for them now, too, being older than in their 20s, when you are sacrificing leaving your families, and kids and all those things to make something like that happen. You have to make every single day count.
Totally. Well, and that's sort of become my household thing with my kids now. It's like we have a list of what's going on that day. And so my wife and I know who's driving who where and when, and all of that stuff is a part of my daily life in the family aspect too, just scheduling this morning. I'm leaving again out of town all weekend to fly out for some shows. And so I had to make time for my daughter this morning because she gave me some shit last night that I hadn't been around, and it's rough. It's rough to get that from them. And so I had to make priorities, and I appreciate you being a little flexible with the time just so I could take her to the arcade for a little while and out to lunch this morning. And that's really made all the difference, So and then that's all on the calendar. Like now we know my wife knows who's taking my other kid to his camps and all that. Those kind of things are really important. They keep everything functioning. I can't imagine not doing that anymore. I don't know how my band survived doing zero planning, zero scheduling. We would just, this is why often when you get booked someplace, they tell you to show up 3 hours early because they're really concerned you're going to be that typical type of artist that shows up way later than you're supposed to, and they're just worried and they're already adjusting for that.
Well, I think doing this as long as we've been doing it, we found the two things that are most important. I would say A is your health. So for whatever reason, if can't make it or do whatever, we want each other to make sure that we're healthy. And the second thing is to be there for our family because life is short and you have to be this is not as important as that time with your daughter, this morning.
Totally.
And so I think that's what resonates with me when I hear something like that.
Well, and there was so much to talk about with their transition in from Canada coming down to the US. Those kind of stories are just so wonderful because they just came down with a lot of faith, right? Like they had 4 gigs booked. They had no other plan outside of that, except for that they believed that they could get more out of this. And sure enough, that faith sometimes is the most important part because it makes you do better in all of the opportunities you get, believing that they might lead to something else. And it is always true. Every time you play a show, I always go at it with that attitude. I tell my students this: if you go at it believing that show should lead to 1 or 2 other shows or opportunities of some sort, you're going to perform better. You're going to show up better. You're going to treat everything more importantly because it is what's going to lead you to the next thing.
And the importance of you never know who's listening, because the gentleman who believed in them so much to help them get to California, they had no idea he was in the audience. and what a huge game changer that was. So, and plus, I think that hot tub had to be a good reason.
Yeah,
I would think,
it's always in the hot tub. In your mind, you were about to make some jokes and you just held them back.
I had to. I mean, he gave me.
You want to be a star, don't you?
Yeah, there was a lot there that I could not say.
Yeah.
I have a feeling he would have enjoyed it, though.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, very easy to talk to. And he really is an open book. Like you said, like he just wants to help other people do what he's doing or find ways to succeed with what he's learned and pass that on. And that is a sign of gratitude. That is to me the reason I teach, the reason that we do this podcast. It's all about this desire to make more people feel what they want is possible, just like we have found a way, right? And that is a really important part of feeling happy, because the music industry is full of wonderful people, and so often we forget to see that side of each other because we're always trying to claw our way up the ladder, right? Or whatever the case. Another thing I really enjoy that they do is keep those regular hours and try to create some sort of standard regular schedule in their lives to help making sure that they're giving enough time to grow the band and the business, but also live their own lives. Those kind of balances, again, I don't think I ever had any sort of type of schedule like that with my bandmates, except for like a band meeting included like some beers and bongs. You know what I mean? Like it was not what they're doing.
No, it was pretty impressive. I'm blown away by it, actually.
They also face unique challenges because they're not U.S. citizens. And I think that is something that we would like to talk with him more about and learn more about how they navigate that. Certainly something we've never had to deal with. Also, just kind of gives a little gratitude towards the fact that, the U.S. has a market, I think, that still is open to everyone, right? That it can be a place where any great musician can come and find their footing. And I think that's a really important thing as we are in this society right now that's talking about immigration so much, that we value diversity in the music industry. We value perspective from all different cultures and backgrounds. And I love that they are here to try to make their stamp on what it is they want to do. And we have given them in this country an opportunity to do that.
I wonder how much has changed for them over the last few months as far as traveling back and forth. If it is easier or more difficult for them to go back and forth.
Well, let's talk about his social channels, because I think that's been our theme this season, has been really exposing strategies that are working for people with their social channels. It's funny because talking to him, he doesn't even really feel that gloating about how good he's doing on these social channels. He is doing so outstanding, and he said it might be luck, but he has these strategies. And I really learned a lot from him talking about, getting a lot from Gary Vee and just coming with that approach and then learning and then readjusting and then trying something else and just being consistent with that posting of every day. Those habits, they just keep producing results for him.
A lot of these guests are coming from us talking about this stuff so much, and then our feed just being inundated. And that's where I found Johnny, where he just popped up on probably something that you and I were talking about. And I'm like, this is fantastic. And then another one and another one. And it's A, puts you in a good mood. B, you don't feel alone. And C, if you don't agree with where he's coming from, there is some piece in there that you can relate to your own journey. And that's why I don't want to say heated, but my ears were getting a little red when he's like, people are giving him shit. Like, you've never been in a metal band. Well, he's not talking about being in a metal band. He's talking about an experience that you might be able to learn from. And if you can't learn from that, well, then the next one you might be able to learn from. So instead of writing something negative on his feed, maybe come up with a topic that you want to hear about, or have you had experience, or shut up and start your own. Like, why do you have time to go post negative shit? I just don't get it.
Well, and I think we're seeing that a lot because I think people are threatened. They're threatened that it might be their own fault.
Well, that's probably the case. I'll guarantee it for all the faults I have that.
Right. Well, and we've heard this before, like what people's relationship is with social media is. What is your relationship with social media? Because sometimes on the vegan stuff, like when some people start attacking vegans, like I have such a hard time not getting into that like spiral of emotion, which is totally pointless because just like on our channel, when it comes to us talking about how possible it is to make a great living in the music industry today, and we get these people that say that that's just not true or that we don't know what we're talking about. I mean, the same thing is on every topic out there, whether it's politics or things like veganism and religion and all of these things. We just love to go on there and yell at each other and try to prove ourselves right by yelling at someone else. And that's really all that he's dealing with, and that's what we deal with. But the truth is, I usually think that when you are getting a lot of feedback, whether it's positive or negative, you must be making a difference. You must be making an impact.
Yeah, because someone cares enough to shit on it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And this always comes back to us talking about being positive, with a positive mindset, right? With a growth mindset, with getting rid of the negativity. Somebody told me today that they've named their mind. And I thought that was really interesting. Like she said her name of her mind was Nancy. And so when Nancy starts acting up or Nancy starts saying negative things, she's like, Nancy, I don't have time for this today. And maybe it's the first step into being crazy, but at the same time, it does make sense because why do we treat our mind as us, right? Like our mind is really only its own machine and it's usually trying to help us, but sometimes that negative stuff really can get out of control. So I like the idea.
Is it usually trying to help us? I mean, you got a pretty good mind because I feel mine's the opposite, and I have to constantly remind myself I am not my thoughts, and let's turn the ship around.
Totally. And that's why you can name it. Yours could be, what do you want to name yours?
Don't even get me started.
Stitch? Because
I was going to say shithead.
Well, whatever your tactic is, blaming the industry or the scene or these people that you're seeing on these threads that are trying to motivate you are going to be a waste of your time and energy, right? The first step to growth is believing that you can make some sort of difference with what it is you're trying to do and what it is that you want. You have to believe it. It starts with you and ends with you, right?
Yeah. Otherwise, he was talking about hope earlier, and goal is just a wish without a target. You need that roadmap, and it involves developing personal systems, setting clear goals, creating an actionable plan so you can say, hey, I can see myself moving forward and end up where you want to be.
Yeah. And that's creating a roadmap, right? That's creating some sort of guide for you to follow. And that's really what he's talking about with that morning list that we talked about last episode, is that it gives him a guide, right? It gives him that roadmap to follow and stay on track despite all the other things that are going to happen no matter what every day.
One other thing I wanted to mention that I really liked about this episode was to be the role you should be, if it will help everyone. How can I bring the most value to this? Set up and own your role. And if you're the only one driving that vision, keep going for it, but be aware of the people that don't have that same vision and aren't doing anything to help move it forward, because they're just holding you back. And
totally.
They're only going to complain and bitch about things and leave you stranded when you need to put your drums away. You're like, I got my stuff, I'm out of here. What? No. I can understand if someone's standing around, but as a team, you have to act as a team member. And if you start to see that the people aren't showing up the way you do, you need to acknowledge it. Otherwise, animosity is going to come up, and that's going to be a huge problem, because all that is not saying what you feel for weeks and weeks, and it all just comes out in over spilled beer or something,
or in the middle of a set.
Yeah,
we've all seen those videos.
Yeah, I loved hearing that, because again, felt like I was not alone. On probably both ends. So probably times I could do more, other times I wish I had more help.
Well, so our action this week is to spend some time analyzing your goals with your social channels. Particularly, we're talking about focusing on the goals for your social channels, and face the hard truth of how well you are showing up for those goals. Do you need to post more often? Questions like, is the quality of your content up to par with what it is that you are watching of other people that you want to do it like? Or do you need to get to the point faster? This is your call to answer the question and to improve your roadmap. We know that your time is valuable, and we appreciate you spending this time with us and being a part of this community. It's our hope that you feel that sense of community here at Musicians Tip Jar and that you'll help spread the word to make us all stronger. If you'd like to get a hold of us or Johnny, what's the best way to do that?
Check out musicianstipjar.com for tools, resources, and discounts built specifically to help keep you up on the finance side of your music business. And reach out to us anytime at musicianstipjar@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your story. If this episode resonates with you, share it with a friend, leave a review, or hit the like button if you're watching on YouTube. It helps us grow this community and support more musicians like you. Check out Johnny's Instagram page, / or at JOHNNYFIACCONI. Check out his website, thedreamboatsband.com.
As always, thank you for joining us, and remember, there is already enough for everyone. You just need to know how to get it. Until next time, on behalf of Dave Tamkin and myself, Chris Webb, stay happy, healthy, and wealthy. The simple key to growing your audience is and always will be consistency and authenticity. This is Musicians Tip Jar.
Oh Lord, I could use somebody. I could use somebody. I could use somebody.
Nothing on this show should be considered specific, personal, or professional advice. Please consult an appropriate tax, legal, business, or financial professional for individualized advice. Individual results are not guaranteed, and all discussed strategies have the potential for profit or loss. The hosts are operating on behalf of Musicians Tip Jar LLC exclusively.
Could use a little help there. Could use some help.